We're here. Episode number 4 of a Techie Geek podcast, Digital Defenders. It's your host. I think it's Mikey Bloom, Mikey Bloomers, Mike Bloomfield, whatever you want to call me, it's fine. But we're here for episode 4 with our special guest, no one. Well, we do have a little troubleshoot. I got little troubleshoot stickers. So this is going to take a little getting used to today since I am talking with myself. I'll be looking over at my guest, but there's no one there. Hey, how you doing? Okay, you're not there. But Christina's pretty confident that I could ramble on for 30 to 40 minutes by myself. So let's test this out. She says I really like to talk. And even when I do have a guest, that I speak 95 to 96% of the time. So why bother? So troubleshoot. How are you doing? No, I got my little troubleshoot stickers. Hopefully you can see these in one of the cameras. I don't know. I've been stickerapp.com. If you're in the marketing, you can get these locally as well. There's a lot of great marketing companies. I get a lot of my promotional items printed by Trademark Graphic Promos, TMG Promos. They do great. But for these little stickers, it just seems more cost effective. I've been going to stickerapp.com and they get the die cuts. But if you look around town, if you see a troubleshoot sticker and you take a photo and you hashtag Techie Geek, IT Superheroes, maybe there'll be a prizing for you. We're going to legally ask people, can we put this on your door? Maybe Country Donuts. You never know. You'll be getting a cup of coffee and you'll see troubleshoot. But that's my I don't know where I should. We're going to put him over there. You probably can't even see him, but he's there. I'll talk to him throughout the day. All right. So what's going on in the world of technology? Well, there's always a lot going on, but we've been talking a lot about ChatGPT and how amazing ChatGPT is. And I think there's a number of tech leaders that agree ChatGPT is so amazing that they have signed a petition, including Elon Musk and many other tech, high-end tech leaders, to put a pause on ChatGPT 4 for 6 months. But why? Because they believe it's a dangerous race to make the AI as advanced as humans. ChatGPT, which was released by OpenAI less than a month ago, probably, I would say maybe right at the month mark, ChatGPT 4 has increased in knowledge so vastly and so quickly, these tech leaders are now concerned. Even Musk, who was one of OpenAI's co-founders, has criticized the organization a number of times recently, saying he believes it is diverging from its original purpose. And in this open letter signed by Musk, Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak, who's a technology leader, urged for a 6-month pause to the development of such advanced AI, saying it represents a risk to society. They believe that the brakes need to be pumped. OpenAI needs to go and really visit and see, is the AI manageable? They are concerned that and how quickly it could learn, how quickly it could enhance itself, that we won't be able to control it and manage it if it actually took up. So it really sounds like this might be the beginning of the movies. So March, I think this was just last week. So March 29th, 2023 might have been the day Skynet went live. So here we are. Elon Musk and dozens of other technologies leaders have called for AI labs to pause the development of systems that can compete with human-level intelligence. It's pretty crazy. Who would have thought just a year ago, if we were sitting here and talking about AI, we always had Siri, we had Google Assistant, and all we ever did was say they were not that smart, right? You would ask it to do something. I can't do that for you. I can't help you with that. And here it is in November of 2022, OpenAI and ChatGPT came out as part of a version 3.5, and how quickly it's taking over as an amazing tool for so many. And then they released ChatGPT 4 and how quickly people are really truly becoming worried because of just how smart and capable it is. We go back to episode 3 when Josh spoke about how ChatGPT actually went on Fiverr and hired someone to get past the CAPTCHA for it because, it can't solve a CAPTCHA. So pretty crazy to think where we are. And in more ChatGPT news, OpenAI geoblocks ChatGPT in Italy. So if you are in Italy, if you're listening in Italy, ciao, I believe that's hello and goodbye. In Italy, the Italian government said they are going to investigate OpenAI due to privacy concerns. And they put an order by the local data protection authority that they must stop processing Italians' data for the ChatGPT service. So if you are in Italy and attempt to access ChatGPT, you receive a page that basically tells you, due to the government's decision, you are no longer able to, it regrets to inform users that has disabled accessing users to Italy at the request of the Data Protection Authority, which is known as Galante. So, and we of course deferred to the Italian government and have ceased offering ChatGPT in Italy, though we think we are following all privacy laws. Italy is one of my favorite countries and I look forward to visiting again soon. Sam Altman. So it also says it will issue refunds to all users in Italy who bought the ChatGPT Plus subscription service last month, and notes that it is temporarily pausing subscription renewals there in order that users won't be charged while the service is suspended. I will say, when you talk by yourself, you seem to talk faster, and I'm losing my breath. Now for you to talk troubleshoot. Oh, that's great. But yeah, so a lot of ChatGPT news, Italy blocking, here we have tech leakers stopping. So the one thing it is showing you is how vastly important ChatGPT already is, and it will continue to be important. I love it, to be completely honest. You know, I've said it a number of times. I actually just wrote a new chapter of a book that will be released in the summer, and I cannot confirm nor deny that ChatGPT may have helped to author that chapter. But like Christina said, when you proofread the chapter, you can tell certain things about it that the way it writes is in a way it writes that probably no human would write. But again, it's a tool. It's a way to get some ideas out there quickly, allow for you to go ahead and what maybe would have taken a process of 20 hours to do now in 4 hours. So a great tool, something that is very important, and something that is clearly important because of how much news it's making, you know, good things, bad things, concerning things. But we're always afraid of technology, and we're always afraid of things that are new to us, right? So concern with risk is a good thing. We should be concerned of risk. Let's take a step back. Let's visit it. I don't know if I agree at this point. I don't know if there's enough information that I believe we should pause for 6 months. Then again, I'm not as smart as Elon Musk and Steve Wozniak. So, you know, maybe we should be. But at this point, I don't think we should. But I think it is very interesting, and I like to see, and we'll be continuing to monitor this. But I will say, if you're not using ChatGPT, start using ChatGPT. And this segment was sponsored by OpenAI ChatGPT. No, it's not. I wish it was, but reach out to us. All right, so hacker news. So this one actually just hit the wire about I saw this about 10 minutes ago when I first sat down here. This is reported April 3rd. Today is April 3rd. This will not be released on April 3rd. But this Western Digital hit by a network security breach. Critical services disrupted. Just hit the wire. Data storage device maker Western Digital on Monday disclosed a network security incident that involved unauthorized access to its systems. The breach is said to have occurred on March 26, 2023. Enabling an unnamed third party to gain access to a number of company systems. Following the discovery of the hack, Western Digital says it has initiated incident response efforts and enlisted the help of cybersecurity and forensic experts to conduct an investigation. So here it is, and it also said it is coordinating with law enforcement agencies on the matter, adding that the probe is in its initial stages. The company is taking several of its services offline, noting that threat actors may have obtained certain data from systems and that it's working on estimating the nature and scope of the data accessed. So when I look through this, the systems that we're taking off are around the My Cloud Home, My Cloud Home Duo, My Cloud OS 5, SanDisk EB, SanDisk iXpand wireless charger. Well, that's not one. The company said in the message posted on April 2nd. So Western Digital hit with hit with a network security breach. Occurred on March 26th. I will say at least it's reported within a week. So bravo to Western Digital for quickly being transparent, getting that out there, making note of that. Services are down, so it makes and those services, the My Cloud Home, those are around cloud network attack storage devices that allow you to store your files and then kind of cloudify them, if you would. So you have like a network attack storage, that's where you store all your files, but allow you to access them when you're not home. So that's why they call it the My Cloud Home. These are home products. I have seen businesses use them as a business. They shouldn't really be being used for a business, but I've seen it. But it's concerning. So if there's a security breach and they're shutting down the My Cloud status page, to me, that's telling me that potentially the threat actor has gained access into the My Cloud section of the business. So does that mean they were able to gain access into the network attacks devices of the clients? Because if you put this a piece and you attach it to the My Cloud portal, you've now given that portal access to your data. That's how it's able to pass that data through to you on the mobile app, on your computer, no matter where you are. So if a threat actor was to hack Western Digital, they could technically gain access into your file. So that's going to be concerning. Where does that fall? So as we learn more about the Western Digital security breach, we will get that out there. And it just continues. We see time and time again different breaches. Data breach of a financial service provider, Latitude, jumps from 328,000 to beep record stolen. Why am I beeping it? Let's talk about that. So in mid-March, a data breach at Australian financial service provider Latitude was initially estimated at impacting a little over 250,000 of customers, mostly leaking data's driver's license numbers. So we've spoken about that. We've spoken about the need to be transparent, not rushing out information with hard numbers, right? If you're going to come out and say it's impacted 250,000 people, I understand if it goes from 250,000 people up to 500,000 people, right? Well, their estimate turned out to be a little bit low. This is the article, by the way. Latitude now says that 14 million records were exposed and that passport numbers and personal information of loan applicants were also included in the breach. So you've come out, you said that we had 250,000 and they only got driver's license, when in fact it was 14 million records were exposed, driver's license, passport numbers, and personal information of loan applicants. Sounds like everything needed to me for identity theft personally. But this is why, again, we speak about transparency. We speak about not rushing data out. If you don't know, say you don't know. Hey, here's where we're at. At our current investigation, we found that we know at minimum 328,000. Don't make it sound like it's been contained, especially if you don't know, because it seems like once forensics come in, it keeps coming time and time again. We find out it was much bigger than originally thought. And on that note, we spoke about on March 31st was World Backup Day. Hopefully everyone celebrated. I celebrated by buying myself a new Western Digital Black SSD. Amazon had it on sale for like 65% off. Amazon had really great sales on World Backup Day. And for the podcasting, the one thing that I've been fighting with is I have a lot more storage now that I'm utilizing, and these video files and the audio files take a lot. We recorded the other day for my other podcast, the M2 Podcast. Check us out at m2podcast.com. At the Staten Island Board of Realtors Realtor Day, we did a live podcast from the event. Well, at the end of the day, I went and I had to get this uploaded to our cloud storage so we could share with the Elon team 230 gigabytes of data for one episode. And now that we've recorded 15 episodes of that, 4 episodes of this, the Audriana and Finn show, we just got data. And the other thing is when you're editing video, you want this data to be very quickly accessible, meaning on SSDs. I don't want to throw it on a server that has traditional hard disks. They are much slower. They don't have the IOPS. They will allow me to edit on while it's on there. I would basically, in theory, have to copy onto my computer, edit, copy it back. So rather than do that, what I'm doing is we're utilizing some cloud storage, and I'm using this new WD drive I purchased, which is a 4 terabyte drive, as kind of a way to proxy. So the data could live on my computer, quickly edit it, and then it just cloud syncs up. But of course, being Techie Geek and the IT superheroes, we will make sure that whatever cloud storage we use is properly backed up, has continuity, and this way, if one editor gets hit with ransomware, it doesn't affect the whole lot of us. So that's one thing. That's why it's taking a couple of weeks for me to figure out how am I going to properly implement this, because that's one of the most important pieces of it is the continuity piece, because some of the editors are not Techie Geek staff. They're not using Techie Geek devices. So I need to make sure that if they are infected and it does infect our data, to make sure that we have a proper recovery. So World Backup Day was March 31st. Hopefully, many of you are taking backup seriously. That's the question, right? Let's start by telling you what backup is not. Backup is not utilizing a USB flash drive. That's not real backup. Backup is not taking a external hard drive that you plug in and moving all of your files to it. Do you know, I remember it was probably about 6 or 7 years ago, I got a call from a business, and he told me he dropped his hard drive. Remember back in the day, before we now have little SSDs and they're rugged, but the old hard drives that actually looked like probably 4 or 5 inches high, 3 inches wide, it looked like a hard drive tower. And he was backing up or copying all his files. So it wasn't even a backup. He was using that as his primary storage for all his videos, presentations, all his business data, and he would move it from computer to computer. Well, he dropped it. Destroyed. No data was recoverable from it. And when we're talking with him, he's like, but I thought I had a backup. I'm like, well, not only is it not a backup because you were copying, he was cutting and pasting. So he was actually moving the data from the computer onto that. No, there was not even a copy on the computer. But then you didn't have another copy, and he dropped it. And he couldn't understand why that wasn't backup. And that's the problem. That isn't backup. It needs to be. Don't think of backup. Think as business continuity, the prevention of downtime. You need it to be automated. Human, anything that requires a human, unfortunately, will fail. It needs to be hybrid, so you need to have both a physical copy locally as well as in the cloud, right? What if we have apparently I wasn't here Saturday, I was away, but apparently it was really windy, there was a lot of rain, torrential downpours. Well, what if it flooding here, and our server went and our local backup went? That's where cloud backup comes. So business continuity, you have to think continuity, automated, backup everything, backup emails. The biggest thing that we talk about with people is they believe Microsoft 365, Google Workspace is a backup. It's not being backed up. If you read the terms and conditions, Microsoft, Google tell you right there, it's the shared user responsibility model. You're responsible for backing up your data. They're responsible for their data center. That's all they really care about. If you have a rogue employee, delete everything in a mailbox. If you have a ransom cloud attack that attacks you, that's it. You lose your data. So you have to be backing up not only physical infrastructure, but as well as any type of cloud data. So World Backup Day was March 31st. If really sit down, think about it. If you can't answer truthfully to yourself that your business is properly backing up and protected, that you would be okay with me walking in and unplugging a server and you'll be okay, then, you really need to talk to somebody. I'm not even saying you need to talk to us, but you need to talk to an IT provider, revisit your process, have a cybersecurity risk assessment, and get a real understanding of where you are. Because when it comes to backup, you need to do it before it's too late. I'm not trying to be the scare tactic here, but unfortunately with data and data destruction, you have to plan ahead of time. So as part of the protect your data for World Backup Day, be prepared against data loss and data theft. Today's the day to back it up and to better protect your data. So take the pledge and, take that seriously. Oh, I like the pledge, the World Backup a Day Pledge. I solemnly swear to back up my important documents and precious memories on March 31st. Hashtag World Backup Day. Back up way more than once a year. It's not a very good recovery point objective. RPO with most businesses would not be okay with a 1 year RPO, but it's a starting point for anyone with a personal, especially on your personal side. A lot of questions I get asked is, where do I store? Like, where's a good place to back up photos and videos? I recommend Google Photos. It's exactly where I store my personal photos and videos. Allows you to store things in albums, share them out. It has AI that actually tags faces. So if I want to go and search a picture that my wife was in and I put Nicole in there, it shows me all the pictures with Nicole. I could even say pictures of Nicole, Audriana, and Mike, and it'll give us the pictures of the three of us together. Google Photos is highly where I recommend anything with photos and videos should be backed up to. It syncs right on your computer, your phone, your mobile devices. And I think I pay like $3 or $4 a month for it. And I have lots and lots of files, photos and videos. So that is a big question I get is, well, where can I back up files? Because on the personal side of things, that's what's probably most important to many. I highly recommend Google Photos. Even if you're an Apple user, Google Photos has the app for the iPhone, the iPad, syncs through everything. But if you're fully invested in the Apple ecosystem and I don't want anything Google, use it then Apple iCloud, right? You can set up with Apple Photos and back up, but back it up. There's nothing worse than a phone call from someone that lost some precious memories or photos or someone who passed away and they can back it up. So again, when it comes to backup, it has to be done before. So please, on a personal side of things, photos and videos are very important. So go ahead and get those backed up. And continuing along, as we see more, and right before I came on, all I did was I went to Google and I typed cybersecurity incident, went to news. And that's how quickly I'm able to get news. 5 years ago, you didn't go on and type cyber breach and get news, multiple articles from a single day or even a single week. There would be weeks between breaches, weeks between news articles. It's just now you see it every day, multiple times a day, articles. You're talking major websites, smaller independent websites. Last week, there was a school district, I believe it was in Alabama, that the school had to be closed because they were hit with a ransomware attack. Let's see, school closed, ransomware. Pretty sure Alabama, but it might be. Ransomware attacks in students' home. That was Nantucket. That was in January 31st. Okay, more schools closing coast to coast due to ransomware. This is 7 days ago. SecurityIntelligence.com. There is a rising wave of cyber attacks against schools. It seems as if a month doesn't go by without hearing about a major cyber incident affecting schools. Here are some most notable events. Albuquerque, Los Angeles Unified School District, Des Moines, Iowa, West Virginia. But yeah, last week there was one. I'm pretty certain it was in, I believe Alabama. It was one of the plains. Is Alabama a plain? I could be wrong. It seems plain to me. If you're listening in Alabama, it's not plain. I'm sure it's very beautiful. It's just flat. But yeah, so the school district was closed due to a ransomware attack. So there's no longer going to be school days off for snow days, right? Here in the East Coast, you used to get the snow days. It would snow and you get the day off. Well, guess what? Now on snow days, they do them on Zoom. So when's your only day to get a day off? A ransomware attack, because then they can't even do Zoom because the school district doesn't even know where the kids are, who's the kids, send them emails. So the new type of school day, I guess they got to put in the budget, is for ransomware days. So you're seeing more and more happening at schools. Hopefully health education will increase their game and really try to put a stop to this. But you're seeing this increase throughout the country. And then new money message, new money message ransomware demands millions of dollars of ransom. A new ransomware gang named Money Message has appeared, targeting victims worldwide and demanding $1 million ransoms not to leak data and release a decryptor. The new ransomware was first recorded by a victim on the Bleeping Computer forums on March 28, 2023, with Solar's Threat Lab soon after sharing information on Twitter. Currently, the threat actor lists 2 victims on its extortion site, one of which is an Asian airline with an annual revenue close to $1 billion. Additionally, the threat actor claims to have stolen files from the company and included a screenshot of the access file system as proof of the breach. And then they have, like, on the website, Money Message Hello has the date, is the national flag carrier of the airline, provides international passenger and cargo services to Asia and Europe, as well as major domestic routes inside. Revenue is $946 million, and they're showing a screenshot and demanding their ransom. So, as we've spoken about, ransomware actors are becoming more aware that the more you plan for business continuity, it needs to be a multi-layered, because you almost have to prevent the ransom from occurring. Because yes, if this was a standard ransomware attack and you had business continuity, you go, okay, you don't pay the ransom, you go ahead and go to your backups, your business continuity, and restore your files. Well, this is an example of one where you can't just restore your files. You can. I could get your files back, but they're threatening to extort you, to leak all of your data onto the web, the dark web. So you basically are now paying to not have the data released. That be personal information of employees, IP, your private data, everything. You don't want that. You can't have that leaked out onto the internet. So now you have a company that may have backups, but has to pay a ransom just to prevent the data from being released. That's why it's that multi-layered approach, right? You have the business continuity for failures and everything else. However, you kind of need to prevent and have a multi-layered approach to prevent it from happening. Zero trust. We keep talking about it. So, it's all you have to do is you go on Google, you type cyber breach, ransomware attack, and you read the news. It's crazy. I started the business here at Techie Geek 10 years ago. And if you asked me 10 years ago if it was going to be like this, I would have probably never expected it. But unfortunately, this is where we're at, and we need to prepare for it. So we did get a question on one of our previous podcasts, and it was when we were discussing ChatGPT. Probably should have spoken about it a little earlier, but it's fine. And the question was, how will ChatGPT affect cybersecurity and affect businesses? And how will it be changed, and how would we adapt to work along with or against ChatGPT? So obviously, it's a tough one to answer, because even myself, I don't know where ChatGPT is going to fully go. We don't know, is it working against us, what it's going to be like. We know of how it works with us as a tool. We know that very early on in ChatGPT, bad actors were already utilizing it to try to make ransomware payloads and different things, because you could actually go and speak to ChatGPT and ask it to code for you, right? We've spoken about how amazing it is, and, spitting out and producing, code. So you were able to go ChatGPT, hey, help me to make a script to download a file and install it. And hackers were using this as a way to create scripts to put in an email to download ransomware. And OpenAI came and kind of put the brakes on it and kind of determined that if it was going to be used against something, it would actually kind of stop it. So there is going to be always some risk. I don't know how, when as ChatGPT and different AIs are used, like we've been using AI in our MDR. So we utilize for ourselves and all of our clients a product called Sentinel-1 that has artificial intelligence built into it that actually monitors and learns how a business and a user uses the computer and watches for deviations in how the computer is used. So if it knows that typically you work 9 to 5 and you don't do much at 3 a.m. in the morning, and all of a sudden at 3 a.m. your CPU starts to spike and you're accessing all these files, the MDR and Sentinel-1 would actually go, whoa, this looks outside the normal usage. This might be a threat actor, and kind of monitor and put a stop to it. So we've been using AI in our stack for a while, but OpenAI ChatGPT 4 is just kind of, you're now getting to the next level. I don't really know where it's going to be. I know that we're going to continue to watch it. And the one thing is, as ChatGPT is maybe used, with hackers and for bad, there's going to be a point where ChatGPT is also going to be used by good to kind of combat it. So you're going to have bad actors using AI, and you're going to have good actors using AI, and it's going to be the battle of the AI. So that's how we're going to adapt to it, right? We're going to adapt to it by watching it, seeing where it goes, being open-minded, and looking at tool sets and and always looking at the pros and cons. Sometimes, artificial intelligence, there might be a great product out there that has great pros, but major cons or major risk. That might be one we don't utilize. So I don't really know where it's going to go. It's so early on, where, with less than 6 months of really since ChatGPT hit the masses. So seeing where I can tell you we're going to continue to monitor it. It's definitely going to change things, and that's what we're going to watch for and see where it takes us. But again, there's always going to be some risk, but without risk, there's no reward. So you need to be willing to take a little bit of risk and try something out and see where it goes. So, a lot about ChatGPT this week, a lot of ongoing ransomware attacks, cyber breach, security incident. Don't forget we have our legal troubleshoot stickers. They're going to be all around town, at least on the Techie Geek van. They'll definitely be on the van. But if you see one anywhere, hashtag Techie Geek, hashtag IT Superhero. Get that out. Message us. Maybe we'll have a prize. Maybe we'll have a shirt. Maybe we'll send you a sticker, because who doesn't want a sticker? I even put this sticker on my computer today. But today's episode of Digital Defenders was really Mike talks nonstop for 30 minutes. And we'll see how this sounds. And we'll see if maybe we'll bring back some guests. I think we're going to bring back guests because it gives me a break. But, hey! I could have just talked to the laugh track the whole time, asked the questions. But no. So, maybe, again, just to summarize, it was World Backup Day. You need to properly think about your backup. So sit down if you're a business owner listening to this, take a hard look. And if you're not confident your backups are proper, speak to someone. It's really important to do it before it's too late. And then we'll talk to you next week. And thank you for listening to this episode of Digital Defenders, a Techie Geek podcast brought to you by Mikey Bloomfield. There. Have a good day, everyone. We'll see you. Techie Geek. It's me, troubleshoot.